Indices is actually a new PMS. In fact, it's more than a PMS, it's a patient health information system. So Pinnacle as an organisation has been leading some of the change around model of care with the healthcare home. And through that process, essentially we've broken all the other PMS systems that are out there. And what I mean by that is, we need systems that are truly patient-centric. We need patients to not have to go to different providers and tell their story again and again. We need a system that kind of goes with them on that journey and actually guides them through some of that. So Indices is a result of a number of years worth of effort from our network, so frontline doctors, nurses, practice managers, allied health workers. We looked around the globe at all the products that were available. We looked in New Zealand at all the products that were available and had a lot of conversations with current providers to see what we could get them to do. And through that process we stumbled across Valentia Technologies, which in New Zealand they've supported St John in rolling out their new system. So the tablets that have gone into every truck in New Zealand, the largest deployment I think of an emergency system in the world. And the new National Telehealth System has also got a Valentia product that sits in the bottom of that. So they're a company that's kind of in New Zealand. They specialise in out-of-hospital care, and you can look around Ireland, the UK, South America, a number of places around the globe where they've done that very successfully. And what they brought to us was the ability to take a step away from always having patient information wrapped around individual providers and put patient information in a central place and start attaching providers to that. And that's pretty exciting because that then enables a lot of sharing to go on. So patients can share information more seamlessly, but also providers can share information and be better informed so that when they're providing treatment, they're in a better place. It's a new product. The Valentia guys will tell you that it's born here in New Zealand. It's pulled some modules from some of their existing products that are used elsewhere, particularly in the UK and in Ireland. But the bulk of it is a new product that's been built in New Zealand by New Zealand doctors and nurses. While it's a web-based product, the data will be here in New Zealand. But moving to the web gives you a whole lot of possibilities that don't exist at the moment. So for example, practices won't require servers and all the hardware that they currently need to support their current systems. You'll be able to run a practice off any device that can see the web. So that means you've got a mobile practice with you. So the whole practice anywhere concept is, whether it's a tablet, an iPad, a laptop or even a smartphone, if you're in a rest home, if you're on the side of the road, if you're in a patient's home or you're in your practice, the information is available to you anywhere. But it's also available to the patient and it's also available to other providers that the patient might want to friend into their health system, just as you would on Facebook. So it's a pretty new way of looking at how you can configure the health system, really. The great thing about the rollout within our own network is that we've had so many of the doctors from Pinnacle involved, doctors, nurses and others involved in the design of it, that they kind of can't wait to get their hands on it. So we've actually had a bit of a problem with having to hold it back as we get it through the final kind of beta versions. But look, at the end of the day, we've always got to respect the people who've got the choice to choose what systems they want to go on. So we'll continue to support the breadth of systems, but we do hope that this sort of starts to form a core kind of system. And the beauty of it is, the broader it gets, the more powerful it comes. So we've got a group of midwives that are looking at using it. So we've got a tablet form where we've taken the pregnancy book and put that into electronic format. That will reduce the whole of their compliance costs. We're working with disability providers who provide support to people in their homes, creating a virtual practice with them in the cloud immediately connects them with the rest of the health sector. We've got rest homes that we're working with as well, so that we're bringing in and connecting the information that they often can't get, particularly meds. We've got providers who go into patients' homes, so residential care providers who might go in 2 or 3 times a day to help an elderly, frail patient, who often have to rely on paper-based information around meds. They'll have a smartphone-based view of this, and they'll be part of the care plan that is wrapped around that patient. They'll be able to see the medication changes before they even get there, but they'll also be able to communicate and connect with other members of the team while they're there with the person they're supporting. So, often St John is called out into a situation, acute kind of setting. Often they have no background information on the patient, and they're not aware that there might be a really active care plan in place. There might be an end-of-life plan kind of in place if it's at that end of the spectrum. So often they're blind, so they're picking people up, trying to do the best they can. Because we'll be on sister systems, there'll be the opportunity for St John's to firstly be notified that there's a care plan in place, and B, break the glass. So it's auditable, but break the glass and access that care plan so that they can then connect immediately with the plans the patient's already agreed to, or treatment that's kind of been pre-agreed in terms of what to do in an acute kind of situation. So we think that's pretty powerful. National telehealth system, absolutely. You imagine you're after hours and you've got a practice, particularly say a rural practice that's relying on HML to provide that cover. They'll be able to also tap directly into the patient record so they know who they're talking to, contribute to that. It'll be live, so when the doc's there in the morning, they're not having to rely in some kind of passive feed. It'll be back there in the patient timeline and accessible to them what happened with that patient overnight.
And secondary care?
Yeah, look, absolutely. So this is a whole system. So the timeline concept that sits in Indices is about ensuring that anything that happens in the patient's life is available to them and available to everyone else involved. So if they're in ED, if they're admitted to hospital, if it's an A&M centre, if they go into a pharmacy, they're seeing a physio, all that information will appear in the timeline and be accessible and visible for their providers and the patient. It's really exciting. Recently, Compass and a whole lot of the PHOs in the central part of the North Island ran a kind of assessment process across all the major PMSs. So they put it up against all the other major products that are available in New Zealand. And overwhelmingly, the GPs and practice staff there have voted Indices as their preferred product. So we're now working with Compass and those central PHOs looking at how we can roll it out there. And look, similar conversations now starting to occur with some of our South Island colleagues and some of our northern colleagues. So, we're kind of pretty hopeful. We kind of think the market's ready for a change. There's been some things that have been in place for a long time. There's been slow development. This is a major step forward. This isn't about putting a glossy front end on an existing product. This is a new product based in a cloud, wrapped around a patient that you can use anywhere. I think it's pretty exciting. If you think about some of the portals that we've got out there, they're a little clunky. They're quite provider-centric, so quite tight with the information that we kind of provide. The whole kind of patient front end of this is about integrating with how people live their lives. So visually, it's a lot more appealing, and it's got a lot more ability to interact with more services and more information. But secondly, you can connect your smartwatch, you can bring your home monitoring equipment and load that directly into that portal, which means your information's all in one place. But we've also been working with like iwi, who often struggle to connect with members of their iwi. So we're giving people, as they enrol, the opportunity to tag their iwi and also skin their portal so that they can make it more focused around the community they live in. So in a couple of examples, half of the front page is actually linked to the individual's iwi, so feed to their Facebook, feed to their news kind of matter, so immediately giving iwi a means of communicating directly with patients in a way that they've never had before. So it's kind of creating, virtual communities wrapped around people's health, but bringing in other aspects. It's got a lot of functionality that you see in Facebook that we're also familiar with that's made living online easy. But no, it's a health information system, but made easy to use. You write a script, conversation with a patient. Would you like a text remind? You want to poke on Facebook? Would you like a call from the system? Things like immunisations or cervical screening. Maybe the practices don't have to be actively doing it. The system will actively contact the patient and even recommend time slots that are available for them. So it's a much more, portals are quite passive and rely on people going into them. This is going to be kind of connected and part of your life. You can turn that up and down depending on how much you want, but quite a different experience. One of the big costs that drives current systems is the hardware. So you've got to have a server in which to host things, you've got to have wiring, you've got to have all that clunkiness. Plus, if you want to go mobile, it's different from in the practice. This is really lightweight. So it's all hosted in the cloud, which means you don't need big servers. It's designed to work in a touch environment, so any device, whether it's a tablet, or a combination of touch screens and mouse, so you've got more flexibility, and it'll work over a mobile phone connection, or it'll work over a wireless connection. So if you think about the infrastructure in a practice, the practice of the future, you could essentially deck it out with a couple of wireless printers, a wireless network, and a bunch of mobile tablets. That's a very different footprint than most practices currently have, and also enables you to take the practice with you wherever you want to go.